I don't have any tooth. I'll admit it. I will brag. Those players did not just go and whip that ass for us to be like, oh, good game. No, we whipped your ass. We took $800,000. Now we're going to party with it.
Yeah, who cares if you're in the Power 5 conference if you don't win it, ever? Or you don't beat any of the teams in it? Like, what's the point of that? Wouldn't you rather win the conference and say, like, hey, my team is good, than lose the conference and say, well, our conference is good?
Well, I'll tell you what, I got two teams that got me gassed up. It's going to be a hell of a battle. Be like two dogs fighting over a milk bun.
Look, they don't call me Tip for nothing. And my tip is, look out for the group of 5 this season. They've been taking it to the Power 5 year after year.
The only quarterbacks that ever get any love are from the Power 5. And I could easily list off the top group of 5 quarterbacks I would rather have than those guys. I would be willing to bet that at least one of them is going to be in the running for the Heisman this year.
Down the middle, James, the lateral to the corner of the end zone. Can you believe that?
Welcome, everybody, to the Group of 5 Guys podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. As always, you can find the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Pod, and any other podcast applications. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Group of 5 Guys. And if you feel like you want to support us a little bit, buy some merch. We got hoodies, koozies, stickers, shirts, tank tops, phone cases, all the above at group5guys.com. We got an awesome show for you tonight. Controversial guest, if you will. King of lists, the infamous Big Game Boomer, will join us later on here tonight. Let's go around the horn, see how the fellas are doing. I'll start with you, Jesse Grisham. You got a new setup. Welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here, Sprouse. Pleasure to be here. I upgraded a little bit of my accessories, if you will, and I feel more sophisticated, if you will. I just feel more grown up, kind of grown into my own, and I'm ecstatic to be here, gentlemen. Cheers. It's good to be alive today.
I've been looking at you all pre-show, wondering if I was allowed to say anything about the sweater around your neck. And now I know that it was part of. So I do appreciate that. You probably didn't wear it to work. So did you wear it to work?
To work. Went to Hobby Lobby, walked around, bought some outdoor furniture. It's just. So yeah, it's just I've upgraded accessories, and it's just great to be here. Can't wait to talk to the old troll himself, Mr. Boomer.
Yeah, can't wait. Next up, we'll go to the famous cowboy hat guy, Zeke Anderson. How are you, sir?
Fellas, I'm doing outstanding. Excited to have Big Game on tonight. Looking forward. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been on, so a little fired up to be back with you fellas.
Yes, sir. It ain't no doubt about it. And it's good to see you are at home again. 2 podcasts in a row. Zeke's at home. So that's exciting for you.
I'm here. If you're lucky, I may tell you about a little wedding story I had.
My luck has been rolling. First of all, my bracket is on fire right now. So I am in sole first place. I'm in a 100-plus team tournament bracket. And I am rolling. I went chalk most of the way. I got Gonzaga versus Kansas in the championship. I wasn't sure. I debated for a long time whether I would consider Gonzaga a group of 5 type, a mid-major type, or are they a blue blood? But I took it. Hey, they're not in a Power 5 conference. So I said, you know what? I'm riding with them. It's like riding with – they're like the Boise State of basketball. They've built a brand that they're well-respected. But let's finish up here.
How many group of 5 schools technically are there still in the tournament? Do y'all know that? I have no idea.
I don't know. Houston's rolling.
Houston's rolling, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Houston is really good. And yeah, it's just a matter. Do you consider like the non-football conferences?
I do, because even in basketball and baseball, I still consider the Power 5 from what I get in football.
Yeah.
So there might be a Power 5 team basketball wise, but by God, if they compete in the football conferences in college football, then they're Group 5.
No. I'll tell you what's hilarious is you're seeing all over social media, and it's the same, the usual suspects, the Tennessee fans, right? They're all mad about the seeding, and it's the same. They're using the same arguments that they use to benefit themselves when you talk about college football playoff. They're all mad that, oh, Duke, oh, Kentucky, oh, you're just using them because of their brand. Well, welcome to the party there, fellas. Anyway, Tyler Tipton, as always, it's good to see you.
Great to see you too, Sprouse. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the Houston Cougars. They're made to the Sweet 16. They look real good. I don't watch a lot of college basketball during the regular season. I'm one of those guys that waits until March Madness starts to start watching it. So got to watch Houston over the weekend. That's a really good team. Memphis beat Boise State in the first round, and then on the women's side, UCF beat Florida in the first round. They got UConn coming up. And I know this isn't Group of Five related, but St. Peter's.
Oh, yeah, Doug.
Out of Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Look,
they're not
really
Power
good.
Five, so we can at least kind of.
No, we are riding with
that on our
the St. Peter's Peacocks.
Peacocks.
They have this fella named Doug, he's the only white guy on the roster, and he's got
Hell
a
of a
mustache.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's going to get drafted because of this.
I'm actually in love with the coach, to be honest with you. He's hilarious.
Yeah,
when they beat Kentucky, he was like, my guys think they can play for Kentucky. They think they can play for Kentucky, and they just beat him on the court. But it was pretty funny.
He was a point guard for Seton Hall back in the day, and they made a nice little run when he was playing. So,
well, last but not least, Jeff Murphy, fired up to see you, sir.
Yeah, glad to be back again, man. Another great episode on the docket. Have a couple great voicemails again that hit the hotline while we were off for 2 weeks. So excited to get into those. And, man, we got some big-time Group of Five guys in the NFL making some big-time money. I mean, you want to talk about cheddar, cheese. I mean, Group of Five guys are showing out. But, man, again, if you have anything you want to get off your chest, man, that's Group of Five related, just vent, even shoot, whatever it is, give us a call. That number is 615-900-4286. We want to hear from you guys. We're fans just like you. Give us a shout, man. Those voicemails are awesome. We've had 2 great weeks of it. Let's keep this thing rolling. I want to hear from some Cajun fans. That's what I want to hear.
Absolutely do. I had a Cajun. I'll tell you what, there was a Cajun working the hole-in-one hole. I played in a little golf tournament down in sunny South Florida this past weekend. Guys, first of all, it's the best golf I've ever played in my entire life. I was out there. I go out there. I bought all new stuff. New golf shirt, new head covers, new ball marker, the whole deal. I got these balls that told me it would add 10 yards to my drive. So I got those ones. On the first swing of the entire tournament, I go and I pull my golf cart up to the whites. My buddy's like, whoa, Sprouse. This is not that kind of scramble. We're playing from the blues. Hey, it's no problem. So I leave my cart right there on the whites. And I tee up on the blues, and I hit a liner. Probably, I don't know how fast a ball comes off a driver, and I just right through, not the windshield, but like the little visor thing that's on the golf cart that you put like the name tags in. And the ball goes right through it. Like, doesn't even like crack it. There's a circle in the thing. First swing of the day. And they were like, Sprouse, we knew you said you weren't good at golf, but my God. But after that, boys, I was on. After I started getting a little lathered up, you know what I'm talking about? And then we go to hole number 2, and there's about a 5-foot gator just chilling by the tee box. It's no problem. And where the average citizen sees a gator, and they're like, well, let's hold off. My buddy Lee, he's from Florida. We see that thing all the time. He tries to go touch the gator. And the gator, goes into the water there, and then we start playing. I mean, it was a damn good time. But shout out to Mike at Slider and Derek at Nationwide Hall for putting it on and letting Group of Five guys sponsor that thing. And hopefully we can get some official Group of Five guys golf tournaments coming up here in the near future. But
speaking of that, and we might need to know this, if you damage property, are you liable?
What I did after that is I removed my name tag from that cart. So
makes sense. You go burn it in the woods too.
Yeah, I threw it right there. Threw it by the gator. I did not do that. We did not pollute. We're not part of that. I put it in my pocket, and then I just pulled the cart up at the end of it there, and
they didn't notice the hole.
Well, not right away. I mean, it's not something you're looking for, right? I mean, you might drill a house window or a car, but not the actual golf cart, because no idiot pulls the cart in front of the tee box.
I've destroyed plenty of carts in my day. I was just curious if they said anything to you. I mean, I've actually destroyed the hydraulics jumping hills in Indian Hills over there at Murfreesboro before, so it happens.
Well, Yeah, no, this was a little bit, a little more high class, I would say, than
Oh.
that tournament. Yeah.
You obviously don't know who you're talking to, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. You drink red wine on the golf course too, probably, don't you?
Yeah.
Zeke, you got a wedding story for us, don't you?
Yeah. So I was in Tallahassee for a wedding, and pretty good wedding, good venue. Cold as hell. The wind was blowing, but once we got inside of the reception, drinks start flowing, people start getting a little lathered up, and this is my first time. The Thunder song, AC/DC Thunder. So everybody gets on the dance floor, and this is new to me. So I'm like, "What is this?" Apparently, it's a drinking game. Everybody circles up. Have y'all done that before?
No.
No.
Thunderstruck for the listeners.
Thunderstruck, AC/DC,
Lightning and the thunder. I'm just kidding.
So
It ain't AC/DC.
everybody circles up on the dance floor, and it's a relatively small wedding party, and that's an important factor to keep note of. So everybody circles up, and anytime somebody points to somebody, then they have to drink until the next thunder goes, and then they point to the next one. So you've got these guys feeding, and then I asked Murph if we could put it on the show, but unfortunately we're not allowed to put that on there. So
we'll get booted. We'll get booted.
We'll get booted by the YouTube Nazis. But so anyways, I get on the dance floor and I get pointed at. So, I'm thinking when I'm in the spotlight, so I hammer my beer, and they're like, "Whoa, that's not the game here." And then so the other guy, so then the thunder goes to somebody else. Well, somebody hands me a beer. I thought I was out since I chugged my beer. Well, no, that's not the game. Somebody hands me another beer. So I'm like, okay, well, and then this one guy points at me again. And I'm like, okay. And it happens to be during the damn guitar solo. So this one guy points at me. He was like, you only chugged half a beer. So he points at me and I'm like, all right. So I'm like, spots on, the thunder it's an adrenaline song. So I just hammer that other one. I'm like, all right, I'm out of here. And they're like, nope, hand me another one. I'm like, thunder. And I hammer another one. And the guy hands me another one. And I'm like, I can't do it. And this guy goes, you quitter. He just like this piece of trash in the corner. And I'm like, I'm going to throw up on this dance floor. I can't. So I go to the bathroom and, I'm hanging out. I come back and I go, the song's over. The fun's over. So I go to the bar. I just get a beer and I'm just kind of hanging out. I was like, I need to take a seat after that. So I sip this beer and this guy comes up and he's like the guy from, if you've seen Happy Gilmore, that just pops up out of nowhere and says, jackass. He was like, well, you going to quit this time? And I was just like, where did you come from? So then I'm like, I go out. So I'm like, walk away from him. And Olivia's like, just ignore that guy. And I'm like, all right. So then 30 minutes later, I'm like, all right, it's hot in here. I'm sweating. I've been dancing, been doing some splits on the dance floor. I go outside and I'm just chilling there and I'm just by myself, just getting some air. And in the corner, I just see this heater light up. And he says, quitter. And I'm like, God bless. I can't get away from this guy. So
That's funny.
Anyways, that was my wedding story.
Well, two good weekends out of the great state of Florida there, Zeke. I'm glad you enjoyed your time.
Yeah.
But needless to say, I did not win the golf tournament. I think we may have been the only ones to cheat, but there's a lot of money on the line, and I didn't do anything but spend it. But speaking of money, Murph, your Vegas Raiders have opened up the wallet for these guys, and these group of 5 guys at that, my friend.
I mean, it's about time. I've been waiting probably the last 2 decades to get some firepower like we got. And before I get into the some of the massive money that the Condor, my boy Max Crosby, made, how about a little Fresno State
Unbelievable
duo reuniting, going to be in Vegas, and I cannot wait to watch it. But Derek Carr and Devontae Adams, man, that's going to be a hell of a duo to watch. And both Fresno State guys, Mountain West guys, and they balled out there. I've been seeing videos all over social media of them two at their time at Fresno State, and I mean, I expect nothing less than that for Vegas. But Max Crosby, man, that guy, group of 5 guy through and through.
Yeah.
They extended his contract. He's going to be 4 years, $99 million. I mean, you want to talk about a payday. How about that to play football, man? That's just incredible. And they asked him, you know, a reporter asked him once they finished the contract signing. I got a little audio here. And his response, I think, is just incredible. And it's what I think group of 5 guys are about, just having the chip on their shoulder and the level of play that they, you know, hold themselves to. So let's listen to this real quick.
What's up, Max? Tashawn. I know you've had a eventful, you know, past year or so, both on and off the field. But what's it like, you know, having this day-to-day, signing this extension on your 2-year anniversary of your sobriety?
You know, it's a blessing. You can't make it up, man. It's just, you know, a lot of people have been asking, like, did you plan to do that? And I'm like, nah, like, it just happened. You know, it was the universe. It was supposed to happen. You know, it's just, it's a major blessing. You know, there's no other place I'd rather be. I want to be a Raider for life. I got it tatted on me before I ever made a play or anything. So, you know, I kind of, you know, I feel like I showed the fan base that, you know, I was serious about them, and I'm going to continue to do that every single day and, you know, show up and be, you know, the hardest worker in the building and lead by example.
I mean, that just epitomizes a group of 5 guy right there. Showing up, being the hardest worker in the building every day, and he's getting rewarded for it. And I couldn't be happier for the guy. And what he's talking about is he has been sober now for 2 years, and he just happened to sign that massive contract on the 2-year to date of when he decided to be sober. And that's just incredible story. And shout out, man, to Max Crosby, the Condor, for getting it done.
Wasn't he on Hard Knocks? Wasn't he one of the guys they followed around as like a
Yeah.
you know, borderline making the team guy?
Well, I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, go for it.
I'm a huge fan of Hard Knocks, but I think I was going to ask Jeff. I think he got picked up like 3rd or 4th round.
He was a mid to late round pick,
right?
and they knew he had a motor, but I mean that's all that guy is, man. And he's a 4th rounder tip. So yeah, he's a 4th round draft pick, and they knew he had the motor because you can see that on film. But he's just gotten better and better and really worked at his craft. In
Hard Knocks, it's like his debut, and people started seeing who he really was in the preseason game. He breaks his hand in a preseason game. He refuses to come out. He goes and just puts a hard cast on it, goes back out there in that quarter and makes like a sack and a few TFLs. So you just got the impression right there that this guy's going to be something special, and he's been anything but special.
No, that wasn't right, but we know what you meant, I think. He's been terrible. Anything but special. Well,
get him off the field.
Might be a controversial take here, but old Gruden and Mayock would have been the ones, right, to see him, or was that?
Yeah,
was
no,
that
he was
before Gruden.
No, that was a Mayock and Gruden pick for sure.
Yeah. But he definitely. I mean, aside from the whole Gruden controversy and stuff, it seems like Crosby kind of fits that Gruden mold, like just hard nosed.
Well, he just fits the Raider mold in general. I think he just epitomizes just the down and dirty, blue collar. Put your hat, lunch pail, bring it to work, and let's just grind it out, and by any means necessary type of cat.
Yeah, I like it, man. Your Raiders, that division is tough, but I think Derek Carr has got some doubters for not really a good reason, and now he's finally got a true number one receiver. So I think
pretty weird too how Devontae Adams leaves Green Bay and doesn't say anything about Aaron Rodgers. Doesn't say thank you, Aaron. Just says thanks for my teammates.
Yeah,
I'm in some bad blood there.
Yeah, interesting. But the other team that's always trying to make the splash is Zeke's Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys? Michael Gallup, 5-year, $62 million, Colorado State guy, by the way. And then you've got DeMarcus Lawrence, 3-year, $40 million from Boise State. The Cowboys could be back if they just get rid of Dak.
It's a good take. Who are they going to get? Baker Mayfield?
Shit, hopefully. Look, here's the way the season's going to go. They're going to have another all hype up. Preseason, Jerry's going to be all fired up. They're going to maybe wild card into the playoffs, get beat. They're going to fire McCarthy, pick up Sean Payton, and then hopefully Sean Payton finds a way to get Bailey Zappi, and the Cowboys are there, baby.
Now that I like.
I swear, if they try Baker Mayfield, that guy,
He's gotta
he
go.
is right there with Spencer Rattler to me. I can't stand
Yeah,
him.
he's got to go.
He's an embarrassment. He just needs to get the hell out of the NFL, go be a high school coach, and probably get fired from that too. I can't stand him.
Well, I like how the Browns. This is so not group of five related. I like how the Browns talk about Baker Mayfield and like his off the field antics, and then they go sign Deshaun Watson, who's got 22 sexual assaults against him.
Allegedly, Sprouse.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, look, that just shows you that the NFL, which, hey man, I get it, it's a business. Is if your ability outweighs the distraction, you will play in the NFL.
Yep.
And I mean,
does.
it's just nothing else to say about that. But yeah, it is good to see all these group of five guys getting paid. I mean, I can't even get over these contracts are like outrageous. I mean, these guys getting 20 mil are like taking pay cuts.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But Tip, I'll go to you for the last word on this. I mean, I know you had a bunch of other guys that signed.
Yeah. I wanted to give a shout out to these other guys. They didn't get Max Crosby or Devontae Adams money, which I wanted to put that plug in there. Devontae Adams was the leader of your group of five guys, if you will. 5 years, $140 million. So glad to see him get paid for all that work he's been doing up in Green Bay. He's one of, if not the best receiver in the NFL right now. So some other guys that got signed to big contracts. You got Zay Jones out of East Carolina, signed a 3-year, $24 million deal with the Jags. Darius Williams, cornerback out of UAB, signed a 3-year, $30 million deal with the Jags. Tracy Walker, a safety out of Louisiana, re-signed 3 years, $25 million with the Detroit Lions. Austin Corbett, 3 years, $29.3 million with the Carolina Panthers. He's a guard out of Nevada. Gotta give a shout out for the kickers out there. Young Ho Koo out of Georgia Southern, 5 years, $24.3 million back with the Falcons. Hassan Reddick. Yeah, big time fantasy kicker right there. Get him in the later rounds. Yep. I don't know if he's going to put up points this year since old Matt Ryan just got traded, but that's for another day. Another discussion there. Hassan Reddick, edge rusher out of Temple, signed a 3-year, $45 million deal with the Eagles. And then Chavaris Ward out of MTSU, 3 years, $42 million with the 49ers.
Paper.
The 49ers, man, I mean, I'm sure you could say this any year, but you're like, oh, they're going to be really good. But 49ers have been good. They just got to figure out.
Richie James had anything to do with that Chavaris Ward signing?
Could be.
Maybe.
Is Richie James still the 49ers?
I don't know, but
he was last year, wasn't he?
This guy can cover me.
I don't think he's on the 49ers anymore.
It's so funny. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, like,
maybe he is. I'll look.
It's been so long since we were on that team. Like, I'm like, I don't remember him. I'm thinking, so I'm 10 years older than he is.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's getting a little bit scary out there. But Murph, let's get to these voicemails. I want to hear them. And you guys know, call the number. We want the hottest takes, best tailgate stories, best trash talk. Let's get it rolling.
All right. First caller comes from, he's a resident caller now. I think we can call him Captain Cons, man.
Do we just want to call this Captain Cons Corner?
I think we
Captain
might have
Cons calls.
I think we might have to. We might have to rename the whole damn segment for him. But
get ready to be motivated.
His has to do. It's a football related topic, but let's just get right into it. It's not directly Group of Five related, but it all relates back some way or another. So we got Captain Cons.
Hey, Group of Five. This is, I listened to Sprouse going on about Jeter, and so I figured I had to go off on one of my own professional athletes that I'm just having a hard time digesting right now, what exactly is going on. So once again, in this past season, Green Bay Packer fan my whole life. Always faithful, like a religion. That's me. But once again, last year, Aaron Rodgers takes home the most valuable player in the National Football League. And I have a problem with that because he is not the most valuable football player in the National Football League. He's not even close to that. Is he a good quarterback? Yes. Is he a great quarterback? Yes. Is he a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback? Yes, yes, yes. All day, he's all of that. But he is not the most valuable player on any football team. What is the most valuable player on any football team? Let me answer that question. It's the player who finds the most value in every one of his teammates on the field, on both sides of the ball, in every minute, in every second of the football game. That is the most valuable player. When you look at a player like a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning, and you add those guys to an organization, great examples, when Brady went down to Tampa Bay and when Peyton Manning went out to Denver, you got a hell of a lot more than just a f***ing quarterback, okay? You got also an offensive coordinator. You got a quarterback coach. You got a team mentor. You got a guy who sets the tone for the entire football team. That is a most valuable player. You remove Peyton Manning from the Denver Broncos, you remove a Tom Brady from Tampa Bay, or even up in New England, or like they did back when Manning missed the season because he had neck surgery, and they went, and the Indianapolis Colts went 1-15. Those are most valuable players. Okay, just because the next guy on Green Bay's roster is complete dog doesn't mean that Aaron Rodgers is the most valuable player. Okay, you can take Bakhtiari at left tackle, and if you put a third grader over there playing left tackle, all of a sudden Bakhtiari is the MVP of that team because he's the guy protecting Rodgers' backside. Well, again, you put in a guy behind him, got some good talent, good feet, great hands, and he does pretty damn well protecting Rodgers. I think he's a great football player. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback, definite Hall of Famer. Is he the most valuable player? No, he's not. And I think the Packers are pissing away a whole lot of money to not win championships, just to win regular season football games, which at the end of the day, no one's going to remember you, right? You can go 16-0 and then lose your first playoff game. No one remembers you. So that's where Green Bay's headed. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality. I'm out.
I mean, he's right.
He's got a point.
I mean, he's spot
Clearly, Devontae Adams didn't want to be there for some reason.
Exactly. And, I mean, it just goes to show you, man, MVP it's a lot more than just your stats, in the stat book and touchdown throws and all that. It's about making every single player of that organization better. And, for a perfect example, and this kind of leads into our next voicemail, I mean, we saw UCF was a top team last year. Dylan Gabriel goes down, and they're not the same team. So, and I would say by far I thought Dylan Gabriel was the MVP of that team. But appreciate the call, Captain Cons. Keep calling in and give us your takes on whatever you feel. So, but our next caller is Tori from down in Florida. So let's check out what Tori had to say.
Hey, boys. Love the pod. By the way, this is Tori down here in South Florida, calling with my shirt off, catching some rays. That's how we do it down here. I'm a UCF guy. I'm actually an honorary Golden Knight, not to date myself too much, but got two questions for you. First, who do we think comes out as QB1? Does Plumlee just get the job? Is he the leader in the clubhouse right now? How do we feel? I liked Keane. Thought he righted the ship after Gabriel went down. I think he gets a fair shot. I think he should get a fair look this year. Want to hear the thoughts? Who's going to come out as QB1? Second, how do we feel about the Big 12 jump in a couple of years here? I personally think it's a little lateral at this day and age for UCF in general. Also, when they make the jump, that means they are no longer featured on the podcast. So that's huge. That's big. That's a big play for me right there. Anyway, let me know. Love you guys. Keep up the good work. See ya.
Tori, man, appreciate the call. And those are some great questions. His first question was about the QB situation down there at UCF. And, I couldn't agree more with his points. You got Mikey Keane, who was the guy who kind of took over for Dylan Gabriel last year, had, really a nice season. They weren't the same team, but that's a hard situation to step into. But he had 1,700 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. For that guy not to get an opportunity to win the job, I think he's right there. And then you got the transfer coming in, John Plumlee, who I think his biggest thing for him is he's a dual threat quarterback. So, and he's got tons of experience. He's coming in from Ole Miss. He played some quarterback in 2019 when Corral got hurt. He had almost 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns that season, and then he moved to receiver. So, that just shows you the athlete that he is. I think it's just going to be a big battle in spring and see how summer goes. So I think those guys are honestly neck and neck, and it's going to depend on, who Malzahn, ultimately wants. I know he likes the guys that can run, so that might give Plumlee the edge right there, being a dual threat guy. But, only time will tell. Just, keep an eye out, during the summer and see how that goes. But anybody else got anything else to add on that question?
Yeah, I got to imagine Gus probably was recruiting Plumlee.
He was.
When Gus was at Auburn, and so.
But they were recruiting him as a receiver.
They were okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Who knows? But didn't what was the quarterback after Cam Newton that won a national championship at Auburn? Nick Marshall, right? Didn't he win a? So Gus likes.
He went to the national championship.
That's right. They lost to Florida State. Jameis, right? Jameis.
Yep, Jameis Winston won that year. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So Gus, he likes that athletic kind of guy.
Even if Plumlee doesn't win the starting QB spot, it looks like he might get some playing time at receiver. I would imagine. You got to get your best athletes on the field. So
yeah,
I feel like he's going to be playing in some capacity.
That, or they'll go the dual threat route where and I hate that, but where they sub guys in and that sort of thing. But Grisham, what were you saying?
I was going to say it don't matter what they do at quarterback, they'll get defense better from what they did last year. That defense is what cost them so many games. Pathetic. Pussycat Williams needs to get his stuff going next year.
That's true. What do you guys think about the move?
Big Cat Bryant.
I call him Cat Williams. Whatever.
What do you guys think about the move he's asking about the Big 12?
I'm sorry. Oh man, I think we'll still. I'm sorry. Big Cat Williams. Big Cat Bryant.
Are you with us here today, or are you just focused on your, wine?
No,
red wine's getting you, boys.
He went to the Cooper's Hawk and
he's been studying his case for jury duty.
Here's the deal. Yeah. Here's the deal on the move to the Big 12. We talked about it when they announced, right? I agree with what Tori said. It is kind of lateral at this point. You lose Oklahoma and Texas, then what is the Big 12? No. It's going to UCF, Cincinnati, Houston, all the teams that are going to be new to the Big 12 are going to be the favorites to win it probably right away. So
UCF's going to be instant contenders when they move.
Immediately.
Immediately they'll be right there in contention of winning the conference.
Now I'll say this: I think that they fit the old school like Big 12. Let's put up 65 points and not stop anybody mold.
Yeah.
So, but and none of them are going to beat Cincinnati at this stage. So we'll see how that goes.
Once they move there, it's not the only time. We'll still talk about the teams because whenever Louisiana or UAB, when they load up to go over there and whip their ass in the Big 12, we'll still talk about UCF.
Yeah.
You ain't whooping UCF's ass. Gus is recruiting some big uns. He's getting transfers from all over.
Yep, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Like Big Cat Bryant.
Cat Williams, right?
He couldn't stop a nosebleed last year. That defense was horrible. I lost a lot of bets
started there.
No, Tori, we appreciate the call, man. Keep calling in and give us your takes. If you got any, fresh news from down there, UCF, let us know, man. We appreciate it.
Well, guys, we got to grill this guy, Big Game Boomer, right now. If you guys, we are about to, he doesn't know it yet, but we are about to interrogate Big Game Boomer for these lists he's been putting together, getting the whole Twitter world all stirred up about a bunch of hot takes he's had. We need him to call and drop us a top 10 list.
I no doubt.
And see if we can get people fired up. Guys, our guest tonight has burst on the scene over the last couple of years with his controversial lists and takes. He's got about 80K followers across Twitter and Instagram, host of his own podcast, Big Game Boomer Podcast. We welcome the one and only Big Game Boomer to the Group of Five Guys show. What's happening, man?
Guys, it's an honor to be on the show. Doing well. How are y'all doing?
Fantastic.
I am fired up to have you on this podcast because when Matthew Sprouse told me that you were coming on here, I've been a huge fan for the past year and a half, just looking at what you've done. Not only just what you put out there, but just how you've gained a following and just not caring what you put out there sometimes. It is great. It's great to have you on the show.
Yeah. No, happy to be here.
So let's just kind of let everybody learn a little bit about you. So why Big Game Boomer? Oklahoma allegiance or what?
Yeah, so I went to OU. That's where I went to school. I'm an alumni there. And so my original account, it was just like Big Game. I think it was like Big Game Bob, but I just changed it to Big Game Boomer just to kind of do my own thing. And so that's where that kind of comes from, because people used to call Bob Stoops Big Game Bob when he was coaching there. And so just Big Game Boomer was just kind of a OU way to make it kind of my own name.
Nice. So originally, were you just kind of talking about Oklahoma football?
Yeah, really, that's like all I was doing back in like last Thanksgiving or 2020, Thanksgiving 2020. You got a question? What's up?
Is that an Oklahoma State banner though behind you?
Yep. Well, because all the other stuff's like kind of around the house, but yeah, my wife went to Oklahoma State, so we've got
good answer.
We've got the whole we've got the whole house divided deal. So
well, hey, I just want to say
my stuff's around the house.
Thank you for being an Oklahoma fan for a legitimate reason, and not like, you went to Tulsa, but one time your granddad watched an Oklahoma game on TV with you and you became a diehard fan. So you went there, man. That's all. That's awesome. That counts.
And congratulations on getting rid of Spencer Rattler. That's a huge achievement for y'all. That guy was just scum. Garbage scum. He's gum.
Well, speaking of that, I know, we're going to stay away from any SEC talk, but you had Shane Beamer on. Did he sound excited to get old Rattler?
He's excited. I think Rattler, I think he just last year, I think Lincoln Riley didn't have his heart into the season about midway through. And I think that had a lot to do with Rattler's play. So we'll see how he does, with Beamer. I know they had a good relationship in Norman. Be interesting.
So you start out, you're an Oklahoma guy, Oklahoma fan. You're tweeting about Bob Stoops. So
Bob Stoops.
When did you decide to kind of transition into this, making these lists?
Yeah, so I didn't really use. It says like my account was has been active since 2012. I really did not start using Twitter until Thanksgiving of 2020. That was when I took a week off and was just bored with nothing to do with the pandemic and just got on Twitter, and I just kind of had fun arguing with people. And once the season was over, you kind of talk about basketball, talk about other sports, but it's just not as fun as college football. So I started kind of figuring out these ways to kind of troll Texas, because that's OU's rival. So I did a list that was like schools with more wins than Texas over the last 10 years. And so you get, there's all, of course there's big schools, but then there's like Toledo or Western Kentucky.
Harvard.
And so that just kind of blew up and just got tons of engagement on there. And so I was like, all right, this is pretty fun. And ever since then, that was like February of last year was when I really started getting this thing rolling. And
you realized how much fun it was pissing Texas off. You're like, I can do this with a lot of big name schools.
Yeah. Because the idea of my list is kind of try to find a way to include something for every single college fan base. And that's what the majority of my lists do.
So would you say then, is Texas your favorite school to kind of troll? Since
not anymore. It really changes. It really changes. At one point it was Texas, then Bama, then Georgia's really fun. Clemson, I actually grew up a Clemson fan, and so I have really fun getting on their nerves. That's pretty fun. They get really riled up. them in Arkansas. But the SEC fan bases are kind of fun to get riled up.
For sure.
Yeah. What? Go ahead.
Well, no, I want to know how much. Let me make sure I get this word out. Validity. How much validity goes into these lists? Because some of your lists look at, I'm like, okay, that's reasonable, and then I think you get to a portion you're like, okay, he's just kind of just throwing stuff in there. Maybe like I was talking before the podcast. I think you had one that was like best coaching staffs in America, and they were like pretty good. And I noticed I wasn't seeing Alabama anywhere. And I was like, Alabama was in there like 30 or 40, and I was like,
they lost some points. Alabama lost some points because of Bill O'Brien. I think he is cost them.
That's reasonable.
A couple games last year. But no, I do like when I'm ranking players and coaches and stuff. I do try to be accurate with those. But when we're talking best restaurants or food or tailgating or atmosphere, there's always some sort of joke, underlying joke. It's very subtle, but when you see it, you're like, that's funny.
Unless you're from that town.
Yeah, unless you're from that town, you're like, he said what? And it's it's fun. So there's serious. It's serious, but then there's a sarcastic side to it. It's
we can relate to that.
Yeah,
because when me and Sprouse first started Group of Five guys about 2019, during the off season, like we're trying to think of content before the season gets here, and we had the most genius idea. We're like, okay, Group of Five schools, let's go and just name the best sports bar or restaurant in that college town. Like, we've been to these 40 places, so we're just trying to do Google searches, top rated places. And so I took two or three conferences. He took the other two. My dumb ass. So we were right on maybe.
Yeah, most of them were pretty good.
Maybe a half we were right on.
Yeah.
But there were some college towns, and I can't remember because it was
I remember.
But maybe you can go because I was putting like franchises on there for some of them.
The one
you have to.
The one you did, you put a restaurant for Troy. You Googled best sports bar in Troy, and you put a restaurant that was in Troy, Michigan.
Yeah,
and then they were
I've
like,
made that mistake before.
And then you did, and then the funniest one was the Cincinnati one. Like, you listed what appears to be a pretty cool bar, but it was a Xavier bar.
I got it from Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. I was like, this place has got to be huge. Just like Guy Fieri likes the place.
So, yeah, that was that. But yeah, people, I mean.
Oh, dude, they got after us. And I'm like, at the time, I'm like, we got like 400 followers here. Like, leave us alone. We're just trying to. They were roasting me alive.
Oh, yeah. They're relentless.
So you started making these lists and everything, and you started getting engagement. So when did you kind of realize, like, oh, this is a thing? Like, this, I'm about to make this a thing, and because your following has like, because I feel like you kind of started doing your thing right around the same time as
this time last
year. We
kind
of started, and you've like blown up to where, I mean, you got all the all the coaches are following you, everybody. So when did you know it was a thing?
I made a list. I did the best pizza joint in every college town, and that list, because I put Chuck E. Cheese for Alabama. And there you go. I like, dead serious, Chuck E. Cheese was trending on Twitter that whole day, like dead serious. And I got that tweet got like,
that's brilliant,
almost 3,000 quote tweets.
That's brilliant. Fantastic.
And that list was insane. And then there was another list or a map. I do these maps, and I did the best college town in every state. And, I put what I think is the best college town, and, that got like 15,000 likes and like 4,000 or 5,000 retweets. And then you start seeing, the coaches are following you, and the players are following you. And then you start seeing articles about your list in like the USA Today and all these different kinds of different kinds of media outlets. You see they're referencing your article and writing an article about it. That's when I kind of realized, wow, this really is something.
So
cool.
What's the, like, I know all the coaches follow you, and you've had a couple of them on like your podcast. What's the coolest, like, you got a retweet or a DM from somebody and you were like, oh, like, I remember one time, I think like Bud Light retweeted our thing, and we were like, oh, hell yeah, how cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
So what about for you?
I mean, the coaches are great.
Yeah.
I mean, I've developed a lot of friends, I guess you could say, kind of through the coaching, just by ranking coaches and getting to know those guys. It's cool. It's a pretty small network once you kind of, they all kind of know each other. I would say the coolest thing was one time that pizza tweet that I did. DiGiorno like quote tweeted it, and they were like, "Alabama, you good?" with the Chuck E. Cheese thing.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, you got Chuck E. Cheese trending on Twitter. That's pretty damn impressive. And then,
Yeah.
So what about the other way? I know. I mean, we know these SEC fans are like ruthless with the things they say. But
oh yeah,
what's like you have any DMs or somebody coming back at you that's super?
You may hurt your feelings.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't really get my feelings hurt. I mean, I've had all kinds of crazy stuff. It's hilarious to me. Like people think that like, oh, he gets mad at that when I send it to him. It's the exact opposite. I'm like showing my wife like, can you believe this guy sent this to me? Like, it's just hilarious.
Have you gotten the opportunity to travel to any like schools that you've obviously you do list about a bunch of schools, but been able to travel and like meet some of these coaches and network that way?
Yeah, when OU had a bye last year, because OU's my school, so I like to watch them. But I went out to Fresno, California, to watch Fresno State play Boise State.
Nice.
And that's if y'all haven't been out there, I'd recommend going out there. It's a cool little atmosphere. It kind of feels like a SEC kind of tailgate. It's a real party out there.
That's definitely one of our next trips is to get out west. And I'm actually originally from California, so I got family out there still. And I mean, I've been to San Jose State and a bunch of those schools, but Fresno is definitely on my list. I heard there's nothing to do in Fresno, so everybody goes to the games.
Yeah, no, it's nothing like if you've been to a USC or UCLA game, like it's nothing like that. I mean, it feels like something from the South.
That's awesome.
They've got a pretty rabid fan base, and I met up with the athletic department. They kind of showed me around, and it was really cool. It was cool, but I hope to do more of that next season. Kind of get my Southwest points ready right now. So I can travel.
Yeah. If you're gonna hit any Group of 5 games, for sure, we'll have to try to link up and plan one to go, because all the ones we went to last year. I mean, first of all, these people, like every single person we've met has been awesome. I mean, no matter where you're at, hospitable. If they want to feed you, they want to give you drinks, they want to show you around, take you. I mean, it's like if nothing ever comes out of our social media, your social media, like you're meeting some cool people that you would never have met.
Yeah,
and lifelong friends, really, man.
Yeah, no, it's really cool because I love college football, and this is my way to kind of get to just do college football year round, 24/7.
No doubt.
So
awesome.
So when you start making the lists, how do you decide on the topic, or do you just kind of something sparks you and you go? Or
it really off season, like once we get to May, I'll start doing my top 50 players for every position group, and then I'll do coaches, and then once the season got started, I do teams that are on upset alert. That always gets people riled up. Then I'll do the loudest and quietest stadiums on Wednesday. Then I'll do like the best game day atmosphere on Thursday. And then I'll do my picks on Friday. And that was kind of my routine. And then I do that like in the morning or early afternoon. Then I do kind of a more like comical, more entertaining list in the evening when there's more people online. So I do like most likable or unlikable head coaches in college football. And it's just like lighting a match to college football Twitter.
I just pictured you had like 20 or 30 lists just saved on your computer, and it's whatever you feel like doing that. I feel like pissing people off. Let me go to my shared drive here. All right, I'm going to use this one. I feel like there's like a few days where you just made 40 different types of variable lists, and then it just depending on your attitude or who you're mad at that day, you decide to share.
Yeah, no, that's kind of how it is. I need to come up with some more templates, but yeah, I've tried to make it as easy on me on the design side because I'm not graphic designer or anything as possible.
Yeah. So what do you like? What's next for you? Are you? I mean, you have like a goal of being a broadcaster or journalist or anything like that, or are you just like having fun with it?
No, because I mean, I don't know if I want to ever be a broadcaster because I feel like once you do that, the fun is kind of gone. I don't know. This is just kind of a hobby right now. I didn't think I'd have that many followers doing it, but here we are. So we'll just kind of see where it goes. You never know.
Just keep rolling, man. Watching sports and talking about sports and tweeting about sports. I mean, my God.
Yeah, no, it's fun. And it's just cool. Like I feel like on Twitter and Instagram, there's kind of like an inner network of people, that are on there all the time. So you meet these people from like different schools and kind of make friends during it. So it's real cool.
Yeah. What out of all fan bases, and it might be Oklahoma, Texas, since you're in that area, but I was wondering how much or which school gives you the most attention in a negative way. Who do you get the most riled up?
Oh gosh, it's got to be Arkansas.
Okay,
Arkansas, two or Arkansas and Clemson are the two most, I would say.
Why do you think Arkansas?
They're just they're one of those fan bases. They're just very like they have that chip on their shoulder, like you did me wrong or at some point, and I'm gonna hold a grudge against you forever because of it. That's kind of how I feel like Arkansas fans are, because like they're not really good at football. They've got a good they're good at basketball, they're good at baseball, but they've been very bad at football. I mean, they've lost to a ton of Group of 5 schools like San Jose State, North Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, some ones where you're just like, wow. So I think they're very, very they're sensitive about that.
It's like an insecurity with some.
Oh yeah, I think that they're very insecure for sure. And then Clemson, just because I grew up in that rivalry, I really know how to get under the skin of Clemson fans, and can just they think that they're a lot better than South Carolina right now, and sometimes I like to bring them back down to earth a little bit.
Well, I got one for you then, just take it or leave it. You want it?
Yeah.
You should do something like Alabama's next head coach and put Dabo Swinney as it, and then just send it out, because that will get Clemson going freaking crazy.
Yeah, they love Dabo.
That'll get Alabama fans going crazy.
Yeah, that'll get both of them.
Bama wants Dabo Swinney.
Yeah, but the Bama fans, the only reason they're not in that same like. Well, yeah, that's the reason they're not in that same insecure category as Arkansas and Clemson is because they've been good for so long now. So, like, you just wait until Nick Saban does leave and they have a 3-loss season. God forbid.
I'm just confident that Dabo Swinney will be the next head coach. That's just me personally saying that, and I just know Clemson fans, because I'm friends with some Clemson people as well. They hate it when we say that because they think it's the most idiotic thing. Why would Dabo ever go to Alabama? What do you mean? Why would he go to Alabama? He's from Alabama. He walked on Alabama. All right, I'm going down a rabbit hole. But I think that'd be something funny for you to put out there, because I know Clemson would.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do.
USA Today, it's when you wake up.
Take it or leave it.
Twitter handle, Big Game Boomer, says.
Getting death threats from Clemson and Alabama fans.
Yeah.
So other than, just making the tweets, hopefully going to some games, and hopefully we can link up for some people. So you got your podcast rolling now. What you got any big guests coming up on that?
Yeah, so I'm I just had Shane Beamer on last week. It was awesome having him on. Great guy, great coach. Just kind of working on it right now. Like I've got some coaches I'm kind of working on. It's kind of with like spring camp starting up for a lot of these guys. Really don't want to bother them right now, but you'll see some potential head coaches, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, players coming up on the show for sure. I just started that like a couple months ago. It's everyone was kind of like, you should do a podcast, and so I just started a podcast. And so, we'll see where it goes. As we get closer to the season, I'll be doing a lot more. But right now, I'm just kind of getting a feel for it.
What's the podcast called?
It's called the Big Game Boomer Show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it on every
Yeah, it's
podcast?
on YouTube and then Spotify and then Apple as well. Try to do one episode a week right now. But then as we get closer to the season, we'll do more. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, if nothing else.
Have to have you guys on sometime.
Absolutely.
Well, I was going to say other big guests besides, of course, the group of 5 guys.
Hey, what? No, y'all are pretty big too. Everyone knows who y'all are on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh yeah, we're huge.
No, man, but it is cool, and you obviously know this. It is cool when you get that, like, what's the word, affirmation, I guess, when a coach like recognizes like the impact you're making.
When Lane Kiffin quoted one of my tweets, I thought
he did.
I made it.
He was at FAU. He did. Yeah.
I was like, all right, Lane likes me. I'm good.
Well, it's just cool. We've had a couple coaches like reach out and just be like, hey, like we appreciate what you guys are doing, and we don't get a lot of love or publicity, so it's just awesome to find some guys that are and actually know what they're talking about to cover group of 5 ball.
Yeah, no, I'm an OU guy, but I am someone that I like group of 5 football. I don't think they get enough respect. And I like that you guys cover specifically group of 5 because they don't get enough, media attention.
And next time you make one of your damn lists, you put us on like a lot more.
Just put us across the whole thing. Just put like best social account to follow for all schools. Like a group of 5 guys. Yeah. Well, man, we definitely appreciate you coming on. So tell everybody real quick, where they can find you. Obviously, follow Twitter, Instagram, and watch and listen to the podcast. But where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Big Game Boomer. Same thing on Instagram at Big Game Boomer, and then on YouTube it's just Big Game Boomer. That's my channel. So, yeah,
I love it.
Guys got great content. You gotta go follow.
You'll hate me. You'll hate me at one point, and you'll love me at another point.
Yeah, you'll be calling him a troll. This guy's full of blah blah. But then the next day you'll be like, nothing but facts.
Does anybody here watch South Park at all? I mean,
of course.
Yeah, you seen the episode whenever Kyle's dad, like he's on the computer just trolling all the time. That's just what I envision you sometimes when you're having a bad day. You're like, oh really, Alabama? Just that's what I see. It works.
Yeah,
it works.
That's
I love it, man. Sure. It's really good stuff, and it's really it's good quality stuff. I really enjoy looking at it.
I appreciate that.
Well, yeah, y'all go check out Big Game Boomer if you're not already. Listen, support his podcast. Give him all the follows, clicks, and likes. Anything like that'll help. And we appreciate you coming on, dude.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
All right, y'all.
Well, once again, thank you guys for watching and listening. Don't forget to hit a like and subscribe on all the different podcast avenues. Any clicks help, right? Comments, likes, shares, retweets, all that stuff. So follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Group of 5 Guys. Like the Facebook page, Group of 5 Guys. Head to group5guys.com for some Group of 5 Guys swag, as they call it. And then don't forget, keep hitting this hotline. We want your questions. We want your hot takes. 615-900-4286. Again, that is 615-900-4286. Leave us a voicemail with your hottest take or your craziest question, whatever you want. But we thank y'all for listening. Thank you for supporting us, and thank Big Game Boomer for jumping on with us tonight. Group of 5 Guys, we are out of here.